bonus episode of the podcast, we take a look at the two big European games coming up tonight and on Sunday. Will Inter Milan or Sevilla clinch the Europa League title tonight? And will it be Bayern Munich or PSG who walk away with the biggest club football prize of them all on Sunday in the Champions League Final? So sit back, relax, crack open a cold one, and welcome to Four Manx, One Toffee, Extra Time.
So what's the topic?
We're talking about who's going to win the Europa League final between Sevilla and Inter Milan, and then who's going to win the Champions League final on Sunday between Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munich.
Well, fucking hell. That couldn't have been an easier question on the Champions League final. I don't even think it's up for a debate who's going to win that. It's just by how many goals Bayern Munich are going to win it by. That's your debate.
Do we get to the more worthwhile debate, which is how the game's going to go between Inter Milan and Sevilla, which is quite, even though Inter Milan swept Shakhtar aside, I think that's a more even game than people are giving it credit for. I think Sevilla are going to make a real game of that.
I think it's going to be the better of the two football games, personally. I think as a footballing standpoint, and two teams that, like you said, are pretty evenly matched, if they go for it like they've gone for it in their semi-finals, I mean, I know Sevilla sat and defended really well against us, and if Martial could have finished his dinner, we'd have been through. But I think I'm actually looking forward to that game more than the other one. As a 90-minute match, I think the quality on showing that game, it's just going to be end to end. I think it's going to be a really, really good game.
I think it'll be the more cagey of the affairs. I think that it'll be a tale of defence and attack, but I think that it'll be defence that overcomes the attack. I don't think there'll be many goals. I think Sevilla will win. Personally, I just think, how many times have we seen them win in that competition recently? It's theirs to lose, in my opinion. Inter Milan, this is the first major trophy final that we've seen them in since we were probably all kids. So, they've gone through the transition. They're obviously shown now that they're a force to be reckoned with in Europe again, which is great, because I personally loved watching Inter when I was a kid, and Italian football, what it hasn't been for a long time, apart from Juventus. And it's good to see another Italian team in a final. But I just think that Sevilla have been there too often and know what they're coming up against.
I was going to say that, the last time we saw Inter, just to build on what you just said then, Josh, the last time we saw Inter in a final was Jose against Bayern, wasn't it, in the Champions League? But Dale, you said all along, haven't you? Like, credit where credit's due. You said all along Sevilla were going to win the competition. So you obviously saw something halfway through that performance against Wolves when we recorded the last podcast to suggest, they've got enough about them to clinch this.
Yeah, I just think obviously with the teams that were left in it, obviously Sevilla, they won it. Was it 5 times? Did I say in the last 15, 20 years, whatever it is? And like I say, just playing off what Lee said regarding Arsenal in the FA Cup, that was sort of their competition. Obviously, just thought Seville would go and do something sort of similar. But currently I think they're on a 20-game unbeaten run as well at the minute, Seville. But I think Inter Milan themselves, I think they're on about a 10, 11-game unbeaten run as well. And they've been fantastic since the restart, especially in Europa League. But yeah, I think it will be a tight game. I can probably see both teams scoring, but maybe Seville nicking it, maybe 2-1, possibly. But yeah, for me, I think Seville will go on and win. I think the last time Inter Milan was in the final, or European final, was about 10 years ago, I think.
Would it have not been that Champions League final against Barcelona where Milito scored? Was it that one?
It was against Bayern, wasn't it? At the Bernabeu.
What a player! What a
baller Milito was. Jesus,
Melita.
Javier Zanetti had the game of his life playing CDM. Moved him from right back to play centre midfield in that game, and an absolute masterclass. That was like Zanetti's
Sure.
like my brother's favourite player, and that game I think just solidified it how good he was. I'm going the opposite way. I think Inter are taking this personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think where we struggled against Sevilla with the defense, our 2 goals that we conceded were poor mistakes. We can point fingers at all 4 defenders for both the goals. For once, we can't point the finger at De Gea, which is nice to do for a change. But I back Inter Milan's defence to not make them mistakes. I think the Inter defence has been solid all season. And I back Lukaku to not miss as many chances as we did. I think him and Martinez together are forming some sort of partnership. And I also think because it's not us, because it's Inter Milan, they aren't going to defend as hard, Sevilla. Like, they threw every man and the dog against us because the game was completely against them. I think they reckon they've got a fair shot against Inter Milan. And it might be a case of they might get caught out for not defending as hard as they did. But I can see Lukaku going on scoring again, breaking every record that Ronaldo ever set at Inter Milan because he's broke almost all of them. And yeah, I can see Inter taking it.
Do you not think, like, Sevilla would focus on being very defensive in this game, though, after that semi-final? Because we all knew that Inter were going to knock Shakhtar. I mean, did anyone give Shakhtar any hope in hell at all? But 5-0, I mean, 5-0 is a good result. And Shakhtar, they're not a bad team. Like, they've got a lot of good players. You've always had a bit of a weird link with Brazilian players for some reason. You've always had a strong Brazilian contingent in the squad.
Yeah.
I didn't see 5-0.
You can't be that bad to get this far in the competition. Like, you shouldn't really be beating anybody 5-0 at this point in a European competition. It just shouldn't happen, really. You should be really cagey. You should be very equal in possession, attack and defence. It was a shock for me. I didn't expect it. I expected an Inter win, but like a 2-0 or a 2-1, not a 5-0.
You wouldn't expect. Go on, Dale.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was 1-0 for about 50 minutes, 60 minutes.
Yeah,
and then the
right.
floodgates opened after that. But I don't know.
That's what I can see happening here.
See, now, I don't know. I just think Seville, they just seem to find a way to win. I don't know how they do it. They just do. I mean, they rode the luck against us. They had, what did they have? Probably 2 chances all game, and they scored them both. You know, they got every man and his dog behind the ball. You know, even against Wolves, they could have easily been 1-0 down after whatever it was, 10 minutes. Grinded that out, got a pretty late winner. They just seem to just find a win somehow. That's how I just think it's going to play out again. They'll just find a way to win.
I was going to say to Josh when he said you shouldn't be beating teams this badly at this stage of the competition. Bayern Munich, says hold my sauerkraut, mate. 8-2 in a quarter-final against Barcelona.
You won't. I personally don't want to see something like that again.
We'll get on to Bayern Munich in a minute. I think we all have a lot to say. It's interesting. I've just dragged up Sky Bet then to see what the bookies are looking at, and the bookies got Inter favourites. 2.1 for Inter, 3.5 for Sevilla, and a draw is 3.4. So I don't know.
I'd be tempted to put money on Sevilla.
It's going to come down to bottle. Yeah, it's going to come down to bottle at the end of the day. Like I said, Inter haven't been here in a long time. Sevilla have been here quite regularly as well.
Yeah. What to expect?
I personally think Inter will win, but if they are going to win, it's with what Dale said, where Sevilla just know how to win, and it is their competition. Like, history is on their side.
I'm just sorry, Collins. I'm just looking at because I'm going off what Dale said, where they've gone on an unbeaten run, Sevilla. So I wanted to check it out who did actually played and who the last defeat was against. So I'm looking on one of my apps on my phone. So the last league defeat, Sevilla, was away to Celta Vigo, and it was 2-1. And I know for a fact, because I've watched a fair bit of Spanish football, that Celta Vigo are no pushovers. They usually do a job against Barcelona. it's never easy for Barcelona against Celta Vigo. But then before that, other than cup games, it's Real Madrid away. You know, a game that I wouldn't expect Sevilla to be winning at the Bernabeu, to be honest. And that was only 2-1. So the defeats that they've actually had in maybe the last 30 games are only really to Celta Vigo away, a good team, and then Real Madrid.
Can I pause you on Celta Vigo? I don't mean to mug you off. They survived relegation by 1 point this season.
I don't care.
When you said it, I was like, I've watched Celta Vigo this season. They are dog shit.
I don't mean this season, just like over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. They've been a solid team. Yeah, they have been a very solid team.
I didn't know that about them finishing 17th in the table. I really didn't expect that, to be honest.
They've been really cool.
When I've watched them against Barcelona, because I do follow Barcelona, when I watch them on telly, whenever Barcelona play Celta Vigo, they usually come unstuck. They're a bogey team for Barcelona. So I just expect, and Celta Vigo have been in European spots in the last 5 years, if I remember right. So they've obviously just had a very bad year.
They've had a stinky season.
Yeah, they must have done. But I mean, to beat Sevilla, they've obviously just had a very bad season, and then showed the true colours maybe on that day. But
they drew with Barcelona in the. I think it ended up being the game that cost Barcelona the league, and the whole fucking internet was going mad at Nolito, who, by the way, is the shithouse signing of the season, where Celta Vigo were granted access to sign a defender under emergency circumstances and went to sign a striker. Brilliant. But he missed an open goal from about 4 yards out in the last minute, which would have handed the title to Madrid, but they won it in the game anyway. But yeah, the no mugs have just had a shitty season. What scores then, boys?
I think Sevilla are gonna make it 6. I agree with Dale. I agree with Josh to a degree as well. I think Inter Milan, as good as they have been, I think it's gonna get to about 60, 70 minutes. It's gonna be within touching distance, maybe 0-0 or a 1-1. And I think Sevilla are just going to find a way to grab that odd goal. And they've shown that once you can get their noses in front, they're nigh on impossible at times to break down. They're just so compact at the back. They defend very centrally. And the way that Inter Milan play, I mean, compared to like the likes of the formations that you see, like the likes of us and Liverpool and even Bayern to a degree as well, play at the moment, Inter Milan are a bit more old-fashioned in their setup. Obviously, with the 2 big men up front. And I just don't think they're going to have a plan B to be able to break them down and get an equalising goal. So I'm going to say 2-1 as well.
I'm going to go controversial. I'm going to say 3-1 Inter Milan. I just can see it. I can just see they've got that quality up front with Martinez, Lukaku, Eriksen on the bench. You know, they play a really solid 5 at the back. It wouldn't shock me to see Alexis Sanchez come on and score a goal, just to rub salt in the wound completely for United fans. I'm going 3-1 in there.
I feel like, Dale, you said 2-1 as well, haven't you? Josh has disappeared from the screen for a second. So I'm going to pass on the message from the group chat from Lee. He's obviously not here at the moment. Lee said that Sevilla would win 3-0 and Jesus Navas would grab them all.
So I'm the only one. I'm the only one going into.
You're probably right, to be honest, Danny. Like, they're the favourites for a reason, aren't they? And that semi-finals performance against Shakhtar it wasn't so much a demolition as it was just clinical. Like, every single time they got through on goal and got a clear chance, it was in the back of the net, wasn't it? What are you saying, Josh? Score?
1-1 into extra time. Sevilla to nick a cheeky little winner in extra time. That's what I'm going to say. I do think it, as I go back to what I said initially, I do think it's going to be cagey, but I just think that there are probably, I mean, I'm not knowledgeable on this, but there are probably about 4 or 5 players in that Sevilla team that have already won it with them. So they know what to expect. They've been there. You know, they're going to rise to the occasion. They're not scared of the occasion. I mean, it's not your normal occasion, is it? It's not going to be a stadium packed full of fans, unfortunately. But it's for a football, you're still going to be nervous. It's going to mean an awful lot to you. And I just think that this, because they've been there before, they know what it means to win it. I'm just going to give them that slight edge to nick a winner. I'd like to see pens, to be honest.
Yeah.
It'd just be nice, a nice change in a European final to see some pens and for it to be on the brink, on a knife point. But
we've not really seen any of them so far in any of the games, have we? They've kind of, the latest is they've got to extra time and it's kind of been clinched there. You boys, I just want to drag it back to the beginning of the chat when you said that Sevilla and Inter Milan would be the better game of the two. PSG and Bayern Munich both have absolutely no defence whatsoever and are formidable going forward on both counts. So what part of you all think that Sevilla and Inter Milan is going to be the better game when it's probably going to be about 17-all between PSG and Bayern?
I think I definitely said that first. I can genuinely see that being a big midfield battle. I think the midfields are going to cancel them out completely, especially with. It depends how they both set up. I don't know if Verratti's fit or not for PSG, whether he's back or not, because I didn't catch much of their game the other night. I don't know. I think I've been let down by Champions League finals one too many times. We've had a fair few. Last year's was the ultimate disappointment, wasn't it? Where we thought all English final, we're in for a bloody brilliant game, and it was probably the worst Champions League final we've seen since AC versus Inter at Old Trafford in 2003. I mean, talk about boring, Jesus Christ. I think there will be goals. Bayern, Manuel Neuer is obviously still one of the best keepers in the world.
Oh yeah,
but
proved that the other
he's
night.
facing exactly. He's facing Mbappe and Neymar. He doesn't face Mbappe and Neymar. I mean, Neymar can't hit a barn door, but Mbappe definitely can.
It's the pace. It's the pace that you don't come across every day, isn't it? Both of those players are absolute athletes. How often do you come across players like that? They can probably both run 100 meters in like 11.04 seconds.
For fuck's sake.
For people that don't understand that reference, Josh ran that in high school and has just not let it go for the majority of his adult life.
And neither would I if I did it as well. What will be interesting to see is where or how Bayern try to stop Mbappe's pace. Now they've been playing Kimmich at right back recently, where I think he's probably better in the centre midfield. He's definitely better as a centre midfielder. I could genuinely see them maybe altering the pitch slightly and putting Alphonso Davies out on the right, because that kid is fucking rapid.
Yeah, he is.
And he's probably the only player in that team that could keep up with Mbappe. Because if they put Benjamin Pavard in, who is back from injury, Pavard against Mbappe, see you later. You've got no chance.
He's not as good a left back as Andy Robertson, though, is he?
He's the best left back in the world, and I called that on podcast 1. At me now.
Credit where credit's due. You did exactly that.
He's brilliant. He's absolutely fantastic, and he's 19 years old. Kid's 19.
Did they sign him from Montreal?
Yes. Yeah.
So I remember watching it the other night, and they said that if they win the Champions League, they have to pay them an extra $1 million, pay Montreal an extra $1 million or something like that. They got him at 9, and they have to pay an extra $1 million. So 10 tops for him. What a steal. What great transfer dealing that is by Bayern Munich. Unreal.
That assist for the Kimmich goal the other day might be one of the best assists I've seen for years. The fact that he rinsed about 4 players, stood Semedo up, danced with him for about 5 minutes, and then got through the whole byline and squared it back. You can tell he's a former winger. You can tell he's a winger that's had to do a job at left back, but he's learning how to play left back now. And yeah, he's brilliant. But it'd be interesting to see whether they ship him over to right back to try and deal with Mbappe, because Kimmich is not blessed with pace. Pavard is not blessed with pace. And Boateng, who hasn't got it anyway, is now injured. So Nicolas Sula is going to be in, who is also not blessed with pace. And they play such a high line that, yeah, that's where the goal is going to be, because all it's going to take is one through ball through, and Mbappe will be cleaning every time.
Based on what I saw the other night, Bayern Munich set up in a way where they very rarely get teams attacking at them anyway. Like, they obviously keep the ball so well. It's very rare that a team gets an opportunity to run at them. There was a couple of occasions, and they probably should have scored at least 2 goals, Leon, before Bayern scored. At least 2. I'm shocked by the scoreline, to be honest. Leon did themselves a massive injustice with the opportunities that they had, from what I saw, because I was just keeping an eye on it. Like, I wasn't watching it sort of intently, but it should have been closer than what it was in the end, that scoreline, because the opportunities they had. But Bayern Munich don't really concede many opportunities, and when they do, they usually deal with it quite well. So it will be interesting to see a very fast attacking team go at them. Yeah.
That's what I mean. If they've got Pavard fit, as slow as he is, it then frees up Kimmich to move into the midfield and just snuff out that pass immediately. And that, like you said, if they can snuff out the through balls, because I know Ander Herrera, who played brilliantly against Lyon, if they can snuff out his through balls, if you can control Neymar, you snuff out Mbappe if you snuff out Neymar, because you can't find him. Di Maria will be the X factor, I think.
I honestly think that Bayern are not going to change a thing. I think they just do not give a fuck what PSG have or what PSG are going to do. I think they are literally just set up to say, come and have a go at us. If you score 1, great. If you score 2, great. We'll score 3. If you score 3, we'll score 4. The way they attack is just so dynamic. Like, they can do it every which way. They can play long balls over the top and be a threat. They can run it down the wings, get crosses in and be a threat. They can play that early ball into the box and be a threat. They can play it for the middle and be a threat. They can send through one of the I was going to say top 2, like Gnabry. I don't know how you pronounce it.
Gnabry.
Gnabry, Lewandowski. I was going to say that's their 2 sort of focal points, but bloody hell, you got Müller. There's just so many players on that team that can score goals. I saw a stat. What was the stat that come out? He's one of the centre backs, I think, for Bayern the other night. Is the only player in that team who's not scored a goal for them this season. That's unreal. Every single one of them is chipping in. They're just a threat from all over the park, and I just don't think they're going to be asked about how many goals PSG are going to score. I think they're just going to be confident they can score more.
The killer sign was when Alaba scored that own goal the other day and was just laughing. Like that. That is, if you've ever seen danger, it's a player of Alaba's quality laughing because he scored an own goal. It's like, you have no idea what's going to happen to you right now.
It's just, oh no, we'll have to score 8 now.
Can they do it on a cold Tuesday night in Stoke, though?
Bojan could, baby.
Yeah. No. Boyan. And he corrected everyone.
What a player he was. Dale, mate.
The next Messi.
Yeah. Dale, mate, I've going off your messages in the group this week, I know you've got very strong opinions about what's going to happen between Bayern and Paris Saint-Germain. So fill us in, mate.
Well, just before that, actually, I saw something before this afternoon. Was it the starting 11 last game for Bayern Munich? Cost 90 million. I was astounded.
That's insane, that is insane.
I was absolutely gobsmacked. I was just looking. It was like, was it Neuer? I think 27 million or 22. And I think Thiago was around about the same. the two most expensive, and then obviously Muller was academy. Was it Canterbury? Was he free? I mean, he couldn't even get West Brom starting 11. Christ.
Oh, if I hear fucking Steve McManaman tell me that one more time, I'm going to drive to fucking Liverpool and punch the cunt myself. I don't care.
I don't fucking know about you lads, but Tony Pulis told me, he said Serge Gnabry's fucking wank.
Oh, yeah, but I mean, I saw that and I was just like, Christ, okay.
When you think about
but yeah,
Lukaku
anyway.
Lukaku cost us 90 million.
Yeah, just puts it into perspective, doesn't it? But anyway.
Money well spent.
Moving on. Going back to the game. I feel that PSG will score. I think Bayern Munich. I mean, especially in the Barca game, I thought they could have been easily 3-1 down inside the first 10 minutes. Even against the game against Lyon, they could have easily scored a couple of goals. Lyon, and I think that to go along with, I believe PSG have scored in 34 consecutive Champions League games, so they will score. But Bayern Munich will probably just score 3. So that is how I'm going to see it. Bayern Munich win 3-1. But yeah.
Ever the professional pundit. Well, here's all these stats on why I think PSG will score at least 1 goal, but it doesn't matter because Bayern will score 7. So.
I mean, he's not wrong. He's not wrong, is he? I mean, Lewandowski has been, let's be honest, he's been poor in this knockout tournament, which we'll talk about on the next recording about this knockout tournament, how I think it's been fucking brilliant. I think these one-legged games are outstanding. But we'll talk about it when it's over. Lewandowski's not been great. Like, compared to what I've seen in the season, he hasn't been good, but he's still scoring goals. And that's what makes the world-class players, where he's controlled games before, he's disappeared in games before. He still scored, was it 55 goals he scored now this season? Like, you're talking, he's in Messi and Ronaldo category now. Like, 55 goals wins you a Ballon d'Or. And he's just brilliant. Gnabry on the right, Perisic. If Perisic isn't working, they've got Coman. Like you said earlier, the goals just come from everywhere. They are the best club team in the world.
Yeah.
It will take a minor miracle, I think, for PSG to win this for me. Because PSG are just shit at the back. And they've got no Keylor Navas, which means Sergio Rico, talking of Stych, another Stoke goalkeeper, is playing in a Champions League final.
Yeah, but let's put Moteng up top. Is it Choupo-Moting?
Choupo-Moting, yeah.
Another Stoke boy. Let's get him on.
I'm just making sure that Sergio Rico actually played for Stoke.
Yeah, he did. I think he got relegated with him.
No, he did. He played for. It was Fulham he played for, which is arguably even worse.
That's 1A and 1B.
He's made 2 appearances for PSG, and one of them's the Champions League semi-final. The other one is a Champions League quarter-final as a sub.
He's obviously a big impact player that comes on in the big games. Just saying.
I just think, I mean, you're right about Lewandowski. The guy is just the best player in the world at the moment. And to think he's about to break the Champions League goal-scoring record, potentially, more than Messi and Ronaldo in a season, and the amount of games that Bayern haven't played. These one-legged games, by the way, my dad's an amputee, yeah? And I like my Champions League knockout games the way I like my parents, with one leg. They are glorious one-legged. They are absolutely fantastic. No away goals. No away goals.
Is that off the cuff? And please tell me you've not been thinking about that all day.
I've just come out
of it. Sublime. That is sublime.
Well,
seriously, like you get the point, yeah. I like my Champions League knockout games like I like my parent one-legged.
They're fantastic. No away goals, no defensive tactics waiting for the second leg, no bollocks. Like, the best team on the night goes through. Two teams that just have to go for it, score goals. If you don't score the goals to win you the game, it's going to extra time and penalties. Like, I just like that. It's just tense, isn't it? Even if you're not a fan of the teams, it's just tense. It's so much more entertaining for the fans. And it just means there's so much more on the line for the two teams playing each other. I just prefer, I don't know about you, I much prefer it, mate.
Yeah, I love it. Like I said, I think we'll go into more detail on it on the next podcast because I know Lee's a big fan of it as well, and he'll have a lot to say about it. It's a shame logistically that it's probably the last time we'll ever see it. But for me, it's been brilliant entertainment, hasn't it? We've seen some hell of games, and in such a short period as well. It's why we love the World Cup. Like, it reminds me so much of the World Cup and the Euros, where we've got footy on almost every single night. It's one game to a finish. Not necessarily what you said about the best team going through, but it's more like the teams that work the hardest in a way. Like Lyon against City. Lyon weren't the best team in that match, but they worked for it. I mean, I think they got very lucky with that second goal. I think that second goal should have probably been ruled out for a foul. But it don't matter because City are out. Not getting a Champions League final. Unlucky for you, Lola.
Unlucky.
Just a yearly reminder, Pep is bald.
Sterling misses sitters.
Oh, no wonder Harry Kane didn't square it. Jesus Christ.
I'll tell you what, then.
I love
and you
Sterling.
said Sterling's better than Neymar. Are you mad?
I'm sorry. Neymar can hit the target, can he?
Mate, if
that assist though, for that goal.
Yeah.
Touch, lad. Who knows that your striker's behind you like that?
No.
Who knows that?
That is pure instinct. That can't be taught. That it literally can't be taught.
That's why you pay 200 million for a player for that instinct.
Another argument.
Is it worth it?
Another argument that me and Lee will get into, like we did in the group chat.
Does it ruin the transfer market?
No, it's not my money. I don't care.
Yeah, well, yeah. You won't say that when it increases your season ticket price.
Not when I'm getting a season ticket for Stockport County.
Hey, Stockport County. Also, special mention to Whitton Albion, who none of you have heard of, but we've just signed McNulty. Go on, the big lad. Tranmere's loss is our gain.
You might as well get Lee Trundle.
Yeah, well, he did a job, didn't he? What a lad.
Yeah, what a guy.
Yeah. Started his professional career at like late 20s.
Lee fucking Trundle. The only professional player deep into the noughties and fucking 2010s that was probably still smoking a 10 deck before he went back out for the second half.
Him and Jack Wheelchair. What are we saying, guys? Was anyone giving PSG a chance?
No.
They have to score 2 or 3.
No. Yeah, I mean, I think you go back to as well, like is this their first ever Champions League final?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Bayern Munich haven't been there recently, but they have been there and they have done it as a club before.
When was the one at Wembley, the one against Dortmund? Was it 2013, was it?
12, I think.
Can't be far off that, yeah.
Because weren't they back to back? Was they lost against Inter and then they did not win against Dortmund? Was that back to back, or am I getting that horrifically wrong? And they also lost to Chelsea as well in their own backyard.
2013, that was, I think.
Yeah. Drogba!
But, I mean, will that count for something?
I don't think so. That squad's completely different.
I think it's basically sort of like fresh slate for both clubs. I know obviously Bayern Munich have won it. Is it 5 times in the past? I feel like they've won it 5.
I want to say it's 5. I think them and Sevilla have both won it 5 times. I want to say that.
It's 5 times, yeah, and I got it wrong. It was 2012 that Chelsea beat Bayern. It was 2013 that they beat Dortmund.
Yeah, I knew they'd been in back-to-back finals at some point.
I know that they've got a history of winning it, and it's sort of in their club DNA to win the major European tournament. But I don't think that they can rely on that. I don't think any of the players have been in this occasion. So I think it's a clean slate.
Is this PSG?
No, for both clubs, unless I'm
Right,
not.
okay. I was going to say, yeah, you're only looking at Neymar. Neymar's the only one, I think, for PSG that's been in, and obviously Di Maria as well. Those two have been in Champions League finals, but the serial bottle jobs, we've seen them bottle it so many times. It's actually shocked me that they've made it to the final.
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting him to get beat in the quarters, or if it weren't then definitely in the semis.
Yeah, I thought Leipzig would beat them.
But yeah, I mean, as a prediction, I think it's an easy 3-1 for Bayern. I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, 3. What are you saying, Collins?
I think as good as it is that PSG have managed to not bottle it and get into a final, they've not bottled it against Atalanta and they've not bottled it against RB Leipzig. So the pedigree of those two teams is no way near Bayern. The talent and God, even the bench, the bench that Bayern have got. You see the players he brought on for the semi.
They brought on 2 World Cup finalists the other day.
They've just got so much strength and depth. They're bringing, I mean, they've made Coutinho, who is a Barca reject at this point, let's face it, look like a fucking prime Gerd Muller. He's coming off the bench in like the 90th minute, scoring 2 against Barca. Do you know what I mean? He's just done that. They all seem to be enjoying the football that they're playing under Flick. To think that they were getting beat badly in games under Kovac and just not looking good at all, and that was in this same season, is just mad to me. Like, I just can't believe the transformation just from one manager going out the door and another one coming in. I think they're going to wipe the floor with PSG. I think it's going to be about 5-1, 5-2.
I was going to say exactly the same. I can really see 5-2. I could see if they have Sergio Rico playing in net and the defence, Kimpembe got injured in the last game. Whether he's fit or not is a different story. They have already got a misshapen defence. They've got no right back because they stupidly let the right back go to Borussia Dortmund before they'd even finished the Champions League. Like, very strange decision. So they're playing centre-backs at right back. They've got Marquinhos playing in centre defensive midfield because Verratti hasn't been playing. They look misshapen. They haven't got anything apart from the front three. I do think they'll nick a goal. I think they'll nick 2. But I could see 5-2. I could see a very high scoring final, but whichever way, Bayern are winning it, and Bayern are winning it comfortably.
I'm going to give them more respect than they're probably entitled to. And I don't mind being the Charlie Nicholas of the podcast and getting all of my predictions wrong.
What a reference.
Well, he's a tit, isn't he? But I'm going to say 2-1 Bayern Munich. I'm going to play it down. I don't think that they're going to romp it. I'm going to say 2-1. I do think it'll be an easy 2-1 and they'll play them off the park. But where it would usually have been a solid 2-0 victory, because PSG have got that pace, I'm going to say 2-1.
So we're all agreed that Bayern are just this big fucking Bavarian unit of a team who are just going to plough through PSG.
Yeah, and it'll just result in PSG spending another 200 million next season to try and accomplish what they've not done. The thing is, with PSG are in a mess because if you don't win it this season, they're not going to win it at all. There's no way that Madrid let what happen again. There's no way Barca, way back in it, Liverpool are not going to stutter like they did this year. If PSG do not win it this season, they are never, ever going to win it.
We said this about Liverpool, though, didn't we? And all of a sudden, they won the Corona League this year. So I'm not going to discount them for the future. I think anything's possible in football.
I can't see it, though, because I can see Neymar and Mbappe leaving.
Neymar's definitely, no matter what happens, Neymar's gone this summer.
Yeah. I don't think it's this, but I think that I could genuinely see Barca making a play for him to get him back.
Yeah.
Or Madrid. I think they're the only two teams that can get him, really.
But didn't he try suing Barcelona and lost in a Spanish court?
don't know. You're the Barca fan, mate. Tell me.
I'm fairly certain that he tried suing them for some sort of transfer fee that he was entitled to, and he lost. And he had to pay Barcelona like 20 million euros or something like that. It wasn't well publicised, but I did catch wind of it. I don't know the exact figures, but I know Neymar lost. So would you want to go and play for a team that you tried to take to a Spanish court and had to pay millions of euros out for?
Yeah, because they'd fucking just give it back in a signing-on fee.
yeah, money talks.
Yeah, it does. Because if you think about it, Messi is aging. We can all agree with that. It is happening. He left Barcelona to become the star of a team. I think if Messi's on his last legs, or let me rephrase that, if Messi leaves, which has never looked more of a possibility than it does right now, he could go and be the marquee player at Barca.
I've got the exact figures.
It's all ifs and buts. Go on.
I've got the figures. So it wasn't 20 million. I over-exaggerated that. It was 6.7 million euros that he had to pay Barcelona. Basically tried suing them for unpaid signing bonus.
It's still not ideal, though, is it? 6.7 million euros out of your own pocket.
That's going to pay for wine.
I mean, it's pocket change for Neymar. It's pocket change for Neymar, but still.
Well, there you go. I mean, it wasn't well publicised, was it? You know, many people.
I feel like Mbappe is destined to leave, though. I think Mbappe he's probably destined to play under Zidane at Madrid. It's just a matter of when and not if.
Get rid of Bale.
Yeah.
Bale's to Spurs, apparently.
Yeah, that's heating up, isn't it?
Nah, he'll stay there and play a load of golf still. Okay.
Let's be honest. If you were him, why would you leave? You're going to get.
Exactly.
You've got a guaranteed £64 million coming to you in the next 2 years to play golf.
Yeah, play golf.
Why would you leave?
Not learn a word of Spanish and flaunt your Welsh flag around. That's basically all he's done whilst he's been there.
Fair play. I can't argue with that at all.
But football's a young man's game. Why not?
Yeah.
He's still got a lot to offer for me, Bale. I just think for his legacy, he needs to go.
Do you not think he's ruined his legacy?
No, not yet. If he gets a move out of Real and he goes somewhere else and wins trophies, I think everyone will forget about this.
Well, he can't go to Spurs then, can he?
I mean, not often in my life does someone just stump me like that, but make a very good point.
I'd have him at United. I really would. I think he would be a fantastic signing for us. We'd realistically get him for what, 60 million? I think Madrid would be happy to get 60 million for him now.
Zidane would.
And yeah, I think Zidane definitely would.
Yeah.
And if we're not going to get Sancho for 120 million, which I still believe is going to happen, but if it doesn't, and we want to progress the career of Greenwood, let's sign an experienced forward who would be happy to spend some time on the bench.
An experienced winner.
And yes, yeah.
He is a winner. Let's face it. That guy can change
What he
games.
did in the Champions League finals it speaks for itself.
That's his legacy. That will always be his legacy for me. And I will always love him for that.
Yeah.
Always. Don't forget it, Liverpool fans.
Honest to God.
Take it in.
Karius has dropped it!
Honest to God, yeah, for me, it's just Bale and Forlan.
Phenomenal.
He's just unreal. I mean, to come off the bench like that in a high-pressure game when you need a goal and to produce that, I mean, you can't create or teach skill and quality like that, natural ability. You just can't do it. The lad is just unreal.
I just don't get what Zidane doesn't like about him. Like, if it's his attitude and the fact that he's not learning Spanish, and it's all ifs and buts, so we'll never truly know. No. But I've watched Madrid enough this season, and I've seen their options on the right wing. Rodrigo is not ready. Vasquez is dog shit. Gareth Bale is fucking brilliant. Play him. Play him.
I honestly think that Benzema, as a striker, would honestly love to have Bale playing on that right side, just lacing assists to him every week. Like Benzema's had a great season.
Mm-hmm.
Would he have had a better season if Bale was consistently on that right side? I think he would.
Yeah. Imagine if Hazard could get himself fit as well, and then you've got the trio of Hazard, Benzema, and Bale.
Don't get me started on that lad. I know he's had a bad season, but he is silk. Hazard is brilliant.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
On his day.
They showed signs. They showed signs when the restart happened, when he was finally fit again, that him and Benzema were developing some sort of partnership. And if you could get the three of them playing together, and then you've got Vinicius Junior coming off the bench as well, who is just electric. And my signing of the season, Takefusa Kubo. Who's just gone to Villarreal actually on a season-long loan.
The thing about Hazard, used to be different gravy. Now he can't stop scoffing gravy. The guy needs to lose weight and get his fitness sorted, man. He's just not looked in real match shape all season. I know he's had
a horrific, unlucky season with injuries.
I know that, but like you've got to be sharp when you're getting back into the team. Do you know what I mean? And he's just not looked match fit all season.
He did not help himself when he turned up to pre-season training, and he genuinely looked 3 stone overweight.
Yeah,
mate, you look like you just had his 12-week scan. Like, what are you doing? You can't be turning up like that. It's not a holiday. No. Like you've had a season of a lifetime. For
It's for Gareth Bale.
Oh yeah, the golfer true. It's not even like Gareth Bale's. It's not PGA. It's PGA. Oh, God.
This sounds like Dale's dream fucking club. To be honest, Dale only wants to go and sign for Madrid so he can go and play some golf.
That'll do for me. Living the dream.
What's your handicap, Dale?
I'm still working on that, mate.
It's his left leg. He's got a limp.
I was going to say spelling, but yeah, all right. Yeah, limp will do.
Jesus Christ.
So in terms of, if we just take it back to what the topic, in terms of PSG Bayern, that's done.
I think Lee said, if I remember reading his essay right, PSG are the best football team he's ever seen. They haven't spent enough money. They should spend 300 million more. And Sergio Rico will score a Panenka penalty against Bayern, against Manuel Neuer. And PSG will win 5-0. That was Lee's prediction. So, Slayton.
Fucking hell, you're reading the message, Danny. That's word for word.
He said he reckoned, like, Lee's a massive Bayern fan, and he just knows that that's going one way. Bayern 3-1, he said.
Why do you think I started the chat before with Bayern München like that? Because you know, if Lee was here, you'd just be getting shit like that the whole time.
I wouldn't be surprised if he had not done his prediction in German. I wouldn't have been shocked. It probably wouldn't have been perfect German because, well, it's Lee.
Hey, I'm not slating him, mate. The fact that he can speak a second language is much more than I can do.
Ali, for anyone who's not understanding, Ali is fluent in what's called street German. So he's 90% there. I'll put it this way: if he was giving it the big one in German now with this match prediction, there would be a fair few people in Germany sat there going, "Yeah."
The last time Lee gave it the big un in Germany was when he fell asleep at the airport and missed his flight.
Yeah. True story.
I feel sorry for anyone that misses this podcast recording because they're just going to get slewed.
Why do you think I made sure I turn up to every single one? It'd be a field day if I wasn't here.
You got away with it last week, Josh.
Yeah, thanks, lads. I've listened through the podcast. I did well. Is it because I jumped on board last minute?
Yeah. You save yourself.
We made one comment about subpar football at Goodison, and that was about it.
I noted that as well. Thanks for that. But I think I probably redeemed myself. But when I made the same comment when I jumped on without knowing what you'd said.
Synergy.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the podcast. To support us, please follow us on social media by searching for @4monks1toffee on Instagram, Twitter and Facebook.
You can also subscribe to the podcast on all major podcast stations, including Spotify, Google and Apple Podcasts, and Anchor, as well as YouTube. Just search for 4 Manx 1 Toffee. Thanks from myself, Lee, Danny, Dale, and Josh, and we'll catch you next time.